Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Advancement Center, and welcome to the world beyond all worlds. Welcome to each one of you and to our galactic friends who are sitting or standing or flying and tuning in to this broadcast that, like all our broadcasts and yours, are delivered into the field beyond the few people or the large number of people who might be listening live at this moment. Each transmission is always delivered into the field for everyone, so that it only has to be done once. And it is there to be picked up like a lunch that is set on the counter for your kids as they head off to school. And some days they forget to take their lunch. But the next day, it'll be there for them again. That is what happens with each of our transmissions, not just these broadcasts, but everything. Everything that you deliver in the quiet of your home, in the quiet of your being, in a random moment with a stranger, it explodes into the field. And there's no proof, but we know that that is what happens. And if you are able to pull back to another realm, just like on 4th of July when you're flying over America, there are fireworks popping as you pass over different cities. You would see fireworks exploding in different parts of the world as your transmission is delivered into the field and causes ripples of explosions. We are so powerful that many times it might not be felt or displayed, but there is a fireworks show from every delivery, and the importance of knowing that it is delivered into the field that has no limitations, that has no barrier, that extends into the world beyond worlds. So each time we speak, we feel, we receive, there is an energy that is delivered and the energy surpasses the words. That energy is coming more and more to the forefront, where when you speak or you feel, it's able to knock people off their feet. It's a power that needs no explanation. And many times you can't describe it. But it is a wave of energy that comes from the world beyond worlds, the ancient of ancients, the beginning of the spark that resides in you. And if it wasn't held back, no one could stand. If it wasn't filtered, no one could speak. Yet everyone is doing it. This power is delivered in an energy that's like a river that can rock you to sleep or rock you into awakeness. It's both palpable and yet a mystery. And we will be experiencing it more and more from everyone. For that channel has been opened. And the flow from your spark is now free to move like a river. Never could it be hindered. Only we could hinder it. And now we open our arms and our hands and release that spark. So that the energy flows in and is delivered out. And now we will know it. Because we will have experienced it ourselves. Things come to me quite often, and I write them down. And so I want to read just what I wrote. not much long ago before this moment. There is an energy that is here now that is filled with equanimity. The differences between us are flattened, even as the uniqueness is highlighted in ever more brilliant colors. Humanity and the human entity are moving into a new vibration. It is not happening like we thought it would, even as we have been given the knowledge that it would happen. It is beyond beautiful to feel it, even if it is not yet on full display. And even that will look different than we think. Each one is imbued with the spark of life, the spark of creation. No one is more or less than another. The spark of creation has always been the same in each. There are no comparisons, and there are no teachers, only knowers of the spark within. And in each moment, you connect with the spark, you become the great reminder of the light within. Maybe 13 years ago, as I was in the midst of my journey, what some might call a spiritual journey, which I now know that it doesn't have to be called a spiritual journey. There is no other journey. We are spirit. And I remember thinking that I was going to help someone because I had more information and more knowledge about this journey, that I was further down the road than they were. And in the simplicity of a smile and the loving glance, they surpassed all my knowledge and all my information. In that moment, they were further down the road than I was. For they were spirit, and I was human. So there are no teachers. You are imbued with the spark of creation. And that reality is what is flattening all judgment. all comparison. And that is what has been delivered. That is the phase we are now entering. Each person can speak from their spark. Each person can dance and sing from their spark. And none is higher or lower or better or worse or more awake or less awake. For the spark of creation is inside them, and they are us, and we are them. And whoever is guided to speak will speak, and whoever is guided to sing will sing, and to be quiet, to be quiet. Each one's passion is the unique, brilliant colors that are now allowed to shine without comparison. Everything is flattened, so everything is lifted. When there is separation, one is lifted and one is pushed down to the point where many may even need to push down to lift themselves. But there is no more separation. My spark is my spark. Your spark is your spark. Everything else is flattened. And we rise together to the world beyond worlds. The greatest challenge is to be in this world and not of it. It's an immense challenge for each person. It causes us to drift in and out of spirit, our true nature, into the realm of the physical, leaving our spirit behind. To be in the world is to enjoy all the experiences. To be of the world is to suffer a self-imposed suffering. When you are transmitting from the world beyond worlds, there are no problems. There's only light, peace, joy. And when you return, there are still no problems. Only opportunities for magic. But if we descend into and become of the world, there'll be enough problems for 10 lifetimes. So know that you are spirit, and you are a visitor here. And these problems are not your problems, for they are not really problems. A room with a view. The sounds you hear, the words you read, the things you see, and the things you don't are all just placeholders for the true transmission from the eternal you. Hidden behind everything are layers and layers of complexities until you reach the layer of simplicity, where you can see from miles away in eons of time, from both the past and the future. Step back further and further into the world beyond all worlds, and life becomes perfect. It all works. The eyes of man are looking at objects from very close, and because of this, their energy and their awareness have a limited effect and a limited view. It's like the kid whose face is pressed against the glass at the candy store, or those 3D images that you stare at and find that you must pull back from the image to see what's hidden in the image. Our face and our eyes must be pulled back away from the details, away from the minutia, into the world beyond all worlds, where we sit in a room with a view. As you pull back, you'll start to feel your body recover to its natural state, free from the constant firing of its adrenal glands, because we are in a constant state of fight or flight. When your view is too close, you have detail without perspective, and your only course of action is reaction. This room with a view that sits in the world beyond all worlds is filled with perfect knowing, perfect awareness, harmony, peace, and freedom that vibrates through your whole body. So rest, body, rest and be at peace, for you no longer need to defend or oppose or fight or run or fear, but instead you may relax and return to the wholeness that was always yours. Be still, O body, and relax. The healing has begun, and the smile from your magnificence will return. You have patiently waited for us to pull back from the up-close war. You did not resist our determination to continue, even though you were weakening, for you are only able to obey our commands. And so you are now celebrating with us as we stand back from the earth and the humans that reside on her and pour out our love. It's like being a grandparent after you've been a parent. The parent can't see the forest for the trees, so there's always a feeling of life and death. But when you become the grandparent, you are able to stand back and know that all is well, and it always will be. So your love is full of freedom and peace. As a grandparent, you have that room with a view that lets you smile and laugh at all the panic of the parents because you were once there. And you know that the parents will soon become the grandparents and have their own room with a view. There is always a bigger picture. And if you can go to that room with a view in the world beyond all worlds, the picture will appear to you in perfect clarity, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Knowing. The difference between knowing and believing is that you live what you know, and you are only able to speak about what you believe. Belief is in the mind. Knowing is in your being. Belief requires proof and is laden with doubt. Knowing requires no proof and is laden with action. If you say you know something, but you are living something different, then you don't actually know it. You believe it. Belief and reaction are like cousins. They know each other very well. Knowing and non-reaction are like beloveds. They know each other intimately. Until you have a direct experience of something, you can't possibly know it, even if it is told to you by someone that you trust with your life. That is called belief. But once you have your own direct personal experience of something, no one will be able to tell you otherwise, even if the someone is the someone that you trust with your life. That is called knowing. Without this knowing, there are constant questions and doubts that plague our lives. When you know that you are the son or daughter of your parents, you have a peace and freedom that cannot be disturbed. It is a foundational knowing that gives safety, security, peace, and stability to your life. Just by knowing this one thing, you unconsciously are free from reactions that would appear free if you were to just have a belief about who your parents were. It is true in everything, as I said before. You can live the reality of your knowing, but you can only speak about the reality of a belief. So what do we know? We know that we are eternal. Or do we just believe that we are eternal? If we live in fear of death, then we are only able to believe that we are eternal. If we live outside the fear of death, then we know that we are eternal. The things we must do to be human take us headlong into the world of belief because they, like a newborn baby, demand to be fed, demand that we give this physical existence our full attention, and we forget this is not who we are. And as we begin to focus so intently on feeding this physical being, we begin to forget what we know, and therefore we live in the reality of belief, where we've lost the safety and security of knowing the truth of who we are. And by only believing who we are instead of knowing, we have no choice but to react in fear and in need, like one who has never known who their parents are and who can so easily be frightened by the enormity of life. So now I implore you to live the life of a knower, for that is who we are, and watch the show From the World Beyond Worlds, That Room with a View, and let the spark of creation in you be a beacon for all beings to join you in the world of knowing from this day forward and forever. That made me think when I wrote it about my song Amazing. So I'm just going to speak the words. You are awesome, amazing, magnificently bright, knowing all things, one with all things. You're the source of all light. You chose to forget and experience this duality, but deep down inside, you know your royalty. When you're ready to remember all that is you, your eyes will be open to all that is true. Don't you know who you are? Don't you know who you are? Don't you know who you are? Don't you know? You're a bright, shining star. You have come from so far. Don't you know who you are? Don't you know? But until you choose to remember all that you are, judge no one's path as you watch from afar. For like you, they are living all they are not until they return to the light that they forgot. You can't know who you are until you know what you're not. You've got to lose what you know before you know what you've got. You are me. I am you. I am God. So are you. Don't you know who you are? Don't you know? You're a bright, shining star. You have come from oh so far. Don't you know who you are? Don't you know? You are awesome, amazing, magnificently bright, knowing all things, one with all things. You're the source of all light. And now, with great love, I wish each one of you, everywhere, a perfect life, perfect health, and a magic future. Thank you.